And we are green. Evenly start inside line with the edge.
Mark Jackson just slower than Wesley Holland.
Drivers around the corners as long as they hit the...
Yes. On lid.
Alrighty, everyone, welcome to the Tuesday night throwback series here on Extreme Sim TV. Getting ready to go green flag racing here. Had a bit of a cluster getting going here with OBS and its wonderful self, and it's going to be a fun 180 laps here tonight, Rachel.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a very interesting race, a long one, but I mean, you know, we have a pretty decent field. 14 cars? So I'm looking forward to it.
14 cars to take on Martinsville Speedway, 180 laps here. Of course, this is the start of the round of 8 here for the Lugnuts and their Throwback series. So, let's take a look here at your starting lineup in the over-the-top designs Lugnuts Throwback series. In the front row, it's going to be Haynes and Mert. Row number 1, row number 2, Mitchell Reeves, Andrew Schulte. Row number 3, Judd Danielson and Randy Arms. Row number 4, Jack Watts, Trent Drum. Row number 5, Brandon Thornhill and John Pensula. Row number 5, Ronald Klein and Wally. Row number 7, Ray Richard and Scott Patton. And that will round out the 14-car field. All right, so Rachel, 180 laps here tonight. What do you expect to see?
I'm hoping they can not have too many cautions, but I don't like to be negative. But if it's anything like practice, we will probably see a few.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to see some bumping and banging out there. Of course, 8 drivers coming in with a shot at the playoffs here. And you see the eligible drivers lit up in green as we've got one more lap of caution. So I will quickly show you what the playoff looks like coming into tonight. See that top 8, John, right there. The top 8 really close together in the playoffs coming in for this round, and John just making it in there. So it's going to be a fun 2-race round to narrow this field down to 4. What do you think, Rach? Narrowing it down from 4 here from 8. It's going to be a showdown here at Martinsville.
Oh yeah, I mean, these guys are definitely going to be, you know, doing whatever they can to make sure that they are in that top 4 to be able to make it through the rest of the, you know, that chase.
And
Green flags.
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. It's green flags in the air. I mean, you got Rob Haynes just trying to pull away from everybody right now.
Haynes jumps out to a nice start. We see a little bit of side-by-side battle. That's Randy Arms back there trying to work his way through with Andrew Schulte right there and Mitchell Reeves. Some of the cars back here in the back. Brandon Thornhill side-by-side. Ronald Klein trying to follow his way in the 76 City Financial Machine. And the thing about Ronald Klein is I do believe this is his last shot to make the Final 4 in any of these series. And you know he's had a pretty good year here in the Throwbacks and specifically. But he's trying to make a comeback here tonight at Martinsville, try to race his way into the Final 4.
Yeah, I was watching this battle up here between Randy Arms and Andrew Schulte. Randy actually got loose, and so he kind of had to fall back behind Schulte. But for some reason, it's this one turn that right next to that pit road wall that both of them kind of got hung up on.
Yeah, and both lanes, but this racetrack on both ends seems similar, but here is the issue with that. There's some bumps down here in 3 and 4 that you'll find every now and then will upset the race car a little bit more than 1 and 2, at least is what I find. But I tell you what, don't blink, because we're already 5 laps into this. Right now, Haynes is checked out. The Canadian going for a good run here tonight at Martinsville. Rob Haynes leads, Jeff Merck in second. Those two great race cars up front right now, Rachel.
Right, and I mean, Haynes is definitely trying to leave Merck behind. I mean, you know, it's over a second already between the two.
Yeah, and that gap, yeah, a second here at Martinsville is quite a bit. Some other places, not so much, but here at this racetrack, yeah, that's a lot. And right now, everybody's just trying to take care of their equipment, keep the car rolling. Don't do anything too awful crazy here. Over the first, I would say even 100 laps. We know they can go roughly 108 laps on fuel. You got a long way away before you'd be required to take fuel here tonight. And to be honest, I don't think we'll see green flag stops.
Yeah, the biggest thing I'm guessing would be for them to worry about is tire wear. And I mean, right now it seems like pretty much everybody's just kind of staying single file, not really trying to run too hard. So
Yeah, and that's not really a surprise here, not Rachel. Is everybody just kind of riding around here, not doing anything crazy? I'm not entirely shocked about that, to be honest. As we run right now up front, of course, Merck right there in second, right on the tail, or not right on the tail, but about 9/10 off your race leader. And we start looking at where we're at in this round of 8 right now. Of course, Rob Haynes coming into the night having 1 win on the year. Mitchell Reeves has 1. Andrew has 1. There's some guys up front of the pack with some wins. But Scott Patton coming in on the outside looking in. Most wins of the year right now at 5 in the Throwback Series. Or excuse me, with 4. 4 wins for Patton. So, we got of this playoff field. Well, I got a question for you, Rachel, and we talked about Ron Klein earlier. He came in 4th in the playoff bundle. However, out of the top 5, he's the only driver that does not have a win in the playoffs. You think he's going to have to get one to keep his hopes alive here after, 23 races after tonight?
I would say probably so, or I mean, maybe depending on how much points he needs, he could maybe finish in the top 3. But yeah, I mean, he's gonna have to get up to the front in order to make that work. So
yeah, but right now he's trying to fight off Patton, who has 4. I misspoke earlier. I said Patton had the most wins. He does not. Actually, a guy not even in the playoffs, most wins go to the driver of that 000, Randy Arms. Think about this, Rachel. He got 8 wins, and because he missed a race here or there, well, he didn't make the playoffs. That's just crazy right there.
yeah.
Well, everybody for the most part single file right now around the racetrack. Really surprised here. They're taking care of each other as Patton jumps to the bottom of Mr. Klein there. That little battle continues outside of the top 5 back here in 9th and 10th. Now, I hate to say it, but you're going to have to do better than that if you're going to make it to the round of 4.
Yeah, looks like Patton cleared him, and so Patton's now in 9th. I don't know. I mean, unless Ronald's just kind of holding off a little bit right now, not trying to really race anybody, but it looks like Patton's trying to move his way up to the front. Now he's going to the inside of Thornhill.
And as you talk about that, speaking of the front, guess who just took over the race lead? Jeffrey Merck, able to get his way to the front of the pack here, getting by Rob Haynes. Haynes right there behind him. That's pretty interesting. Merck was able to jump by him. Here comes Mitchell Reeves. Maybe Haynes got out there and ran his equipment just a little too hard already.
Yeah, that could be part of it. Is he might have worn his tires down, and that's what was able that was what made it easier for Merck to close that gap.
And you think about this too, Rachel. With everybody back single file again, somebody like a Randy Arms winning 8 races. I went back and looked. He missed a total of 2 races this year, and that cost him a shot at this championship. Shows you how competitive this league is. 2 races missed, and you're out of the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean that's insane. You wouldn't think that small of an amount of missed races would jeopardize that chance for him to get into the chase.
Yeah, and you got to sit here and you got to think what would have been the difference if he could have, right?
Right.
That would, with that many wins, he's a good car. What would it have been like if he would have made the round of, 10, I think we started, now down to 8, and of course going to 4, so. And right now,
Oh yeah.
and right now, another car moving forward, you talked about Scott Patton. He's to the back bumper of Mr. I believe he's to the back bumper of Jack Watts.
Right.
He's coming forward, but meanwhile, Rob Haynes, he's dropping back here pretty rapidly, Rachel.
Yeah, I mean, Scott, but we're used to seeing this. Scott, tries to get to the front as much as possible. So this doesn't surprise me that he's trying to work his way through the field. But Rob, yeah, I think him having that large gap, I think he was running his tires just way too hard to keep that gap between him and Mark. And unfortunately now he's paying for that, and he's just falling behind because everybody else pretty much conserved their tires a little bit more.
Well, as we get a battle up there in front of Mitchell Reeves dropping back as well. But for you viewers at home, me and Rob, we pick on each other a little bit. So, Rob, did you burn your tires off a little bit, eh? I believe so, because he dropped like a stone.
Yeah, but it looks like you've got Andrew Schulte that's moved up to the 2nd position.
Got Schulte up to 2nd. Schulte moving forward. Burt keeping a good gap up front here. Already 26 laps complete of this race. Now, what is going to be interesting, breaking out the calculator here, we know they can go 108 laps, Rachel, which is obviously shy. So they'll be within their window at around lap 75. Make that stop and go the rest of the way to the end of the night.
Right, and it's going to be interesting to see how some of these guys play that out because, there might be some that come a little bit earlier or some that might risk it and try to, pit maybe like a little bit after that. Or you might have some, that do shorter pit stops. So you never really know how some of these guys might try to play strategy.
Well,
if we don't have any cautions.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, once we run 72 laps here tonight, you'll be in your fuel window. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out if we stay green. Knock on wood, we haven't seen a yellow out just yet. Everybody playing nice with each other right now.
Yeah. And I think, like I mentioned earlier, whenever we were watching practice, I was like, oh, this might not be too good. But some of these guys could have just been playing around, not really worried because it's practice. And so they could have just been, running the car as hard as they wanted, just slamming into each other. So they're actually trying to take it easy and not really, hurt each other. But let's say, now that we're talking about that, Schulte is right on the back bumper of Merck right now.
Yeah, I was getting ready to bring that up, and he is giving the bumper to Merck the last couple of corners. Andrew Schulte, another one of these drivers that came inside that round of 4 right now, and he is up front with Jeffrey Merck battling it out for the race win. And if you're the top 4 coming into tonight, and tonight coming in on the inside was Rob Haynes, Reeves, Andrew Schulte, and Ronald Klein. If one of these guys can get up here and win it in this round, dude, that does wonders before we go to the next race to cut the 4.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, and well, as you say that, Schulte to the inside of Merck right now.
And he's going to clear him. Actually, well, rubs that left front fender a little bit with his right rear. Takes it through. So Schulte, race leader. Merck to second. I would like to say I'm surprised, but Andrew Schulte is always strong as well. And that's the thing about this league. You really never can tell week to week who is going to be competitive and who isn't, right? You just don't know. As you got Scott Patton coming through here as well into that top 5 spot, going by Rob Haynes, and he'll clear, so he's up to top 5. And I think we're starting to see the cream rise to the top here.
Yeah, I mean, Patton has definitely made his charge through this field. I mean, he started in 14th, and he's already moved up to the 5th position. So, I mean, he's definitely trying to get through this field as fast as possible to get to the front.
Yeah, and like you said, I think each one of these drivers out here, it's such a competitive field. It's so hard to do any good. If you're watching this right now and we look ahead to season 2 here, after this wraps, Rachel, I think this field is going to get even tighter for season 2.
Yeah, and then I mean, you never know if there's gonna be some new people coming in too, and so I mean that can definitely add, to the competitiveness of this field. So
Well, we know that I'll be back covering it next year, next season there as well, and Jeffrey Merck sitting in second. And Merck actually a little bit sideways there. He's got Randy Orms, that Castrol machine, that number 83, and Merck over driving turn 4. That car's starting to step out with him here.
yeah, a couple other cars had issues right there in that turn too. And it just kind of just messes up the car a little bit. Randy had that problem earlier as well. That's whenever him and Schulte were battling. And so, yeah, they're going to have to be really careful with that.
Yeah, and these two nose to tail right here, 38 complete. About halfway through what they would need to run to be good on fuel to the end. Again, that number being 72 here tonight. And with tire fall off, I wouldn't be surprised if we go green if the guys don't dive down pretty much immediately when they can know they can make it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure most of these guys are probably whenever it's finally time for them to get down pit road. I mean, they're gonna need 4 new tires. I mean, some of these guys you can tell that they're falling off. So.
Well, our race leader right now is 1.8, or let's see, he's about 1 second off his fastest. So you take a look at that. Say, okay, he's at least a second, if not more, off his fastest lap. Merck actually almost a second and something off his fastest. So we've slowed down an average of at least a second over this run here tonight so far. So tires is going to matter a lot here. His arms right now putting the back bumper to Merck, or front bumper to Merck here. Merck up the racetrack. Everybody's still single file here. Mitchell Reeves got Patton looking to pick up a spot, moving from 5th to 4th here. For Patton moving forward once again, now in the top 5. He'll get by Reeves, and Haynes continues to fall off right now. He's about a 10th off the leader that time by. And the funny thing is, he's got the fastest lap of the race so far early, Haynes does, but now he is one of the ones that's dropped the hardest.
Yeah, and I mean, Patton's closing that gap between him and Haynes, so it's only a matter of time that Patton gets around him.
Yeah, and it's just got to be tough for Rob Haynes, right? I mean, because you're having a smooth go, you start the race, you pull ahead, and now it's kind of all going away pretty quickly here for you if you continue to run here tonight.
Yeah, he just needs that pit stop and 4 new tires, and then, I mean, we should see Rob move his way back up to the front, as long as he doesn't have, like, any issues on pit road or anything, so.
Exactly. Patton here, we talked about him closing in. He'll jump to the bottom here and steal the spot away from that 199 of Haynes. Can you believe we're 46 laps into this, Rachel?
No, I mean, it's going by really fast, but that's what, I mean, honestly, it's because these guys have kept it clean and green the whole time. And so, you know, that makes races a lot shorter, was whenever you don't have those delays with cautions. So,
Yeah, look at it right now. We're 47 in by my clock. If we go green, we're looking at about another 40 minutes of racing. So, we're rolling through this right now. And up front, Sholto leads. So that tells me, and I don't have, knock on wood over here, let me find some wood, but I don't have that yellow flag feel, right? It feels like everybody's settled in. And they're just taking care of their equipment, which is very smart. Now, obviously, for us at home and up at the booth, of course, you want to see some yellows to stack them up and beating and banging. But for these guys, the smart play is to do exactly what they're doing right now.
yeah, I mean, of course, yeah, when you see cautions and things like that, it makes it really interesting and stuff. But at the same time, these guys, they want to take care of their equipment. They want to have a car by the end of the night. That's the last thing they want is for their night to be ruined because of, some miscalculation where, somebody needs to merc as soon as possible. So, but I mean, we'll have to see if Merck can hold them off.
Yeah, and this part of the race, it's always been like this. It's like, you go your Saturday night racing, your heat races, you got to get through your heats to get to the. But this is the heats for these guys. They got to get to that last 50 laps of this race with a shot to win and a good race car. It's the same thing. You're 53 into a 180 lap race at Martinsville. There's no real reason to push the issue right now. And especially when we're this close for them to be able to take tires here in the next, 30, 35 laps here, to when they could come down and take tires. And I do think they'll come down early because I just think they're losing too much time on the racetrack tire-wise not to.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can conserve, and I'm sure some of these guys didn't really push it very much, but going by their times, yeah, they're all losing quite a bit, quite a bit of time on their laps, and it's not worth, uh, they definitely need to come down and get tires and everything whenever, probably as soon as possible, as soon as they think that they can, you know, that that fuel window comes up. So
Well, if you think about it, 2 seconds a lap, right? 2 seconds a lap fast. In 5 laps, if you stay out 5 laps longer than somebody else here tonight, and you're 2 seconds a lap slower, think about that, Rachel. That is 10 seconds to give up on the race.
yeah, and that is a lot you really can't make that up. Like, I mean, once you've lost that much ground, there's no making that up to get towards the front of the field.
Well, let's give a visual representation here, because Ronald Klein right now is 11 seconds off the leader. He just passed the start-finish line into one. The leader's over here in turn 4. That
Right.
would be what you would be giving up. If somebody comes at road, you cannot give up 2 seconds a lap. I'm sorry,
No.
you can't. And it's way, way too much. If you
Right.
if just to think here, you look at Andrew into turn 3, and then Arms 2 seconds back right at 1.8. That's the distance you're losing a lap to the guy, and you can't afford that at all.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, that you don't want to lose that, that much position on this track. This track is not, I mean, to kind of make up some ground because it's a large track. So, the leader's not that far away. But in this situation, it's too small of a track. So they can easily pull away from you.
But right now, Patton getting around Merck. Nice battle. Look at this. Scott Patton up by Merck, possibly into 3 and 4. Double file right now. Great little battle and pulling ahead almost to Scott Patton, but it's so hard to get the power down there on the bottom with that 46 Stone River machine as wore out as those rear tires are.
Yeah, but I mean, he's still able to clear him, but yeah, it was definitely kind of hard for Patton to get around him.
Yeah, and it was, but Patton did get clear of that Chevrolet Exxon machine of Merck, and pulling away now is Patton in front of Merck at the moment. So no, really, look at where we're at here. We're 63 into this race here tonight. 63 laps in, and we continue buffering a little bit. There's not much we can do. Just keep
Technology, right? But as we were talking about that, Brandon Thornhill got a run on Ronald Klein and moved up to the 7th position. So so now he has moved up 2 spots. Yeah, he started in 9th. So.
But again, not the night that Ronald Klein needed. I don't think. I think he needed more out of that 76 machine. It's just not giving it to him right now. That could be a driver that I could see just as soon as this pit window opens, taking that hard left-hand turn down pit road. And oh, by the way, we're only about coming up 5 to go on the pit window actually opening.
Yeah. I mean, this race is definitely blowing by. Like, I mean, and it's because these guys have just kept it green. And so it's not taking very long for them to go through these laps. I mean, it's 180 laps. Yeah, it sounds like a lot, but when you have a very small track like this, it doesn't take much time.
Yeah, now think about this, with 72 being in the books when we get there, and lap traffic there for Scott, but when we get to 72 in the books, you'll have 107 to go. Reports were that they could do 108. We've already got a car on pit road. Already,
yeah,
here we go.
Trent Drum, right, is on pit road right now.
I don't know that I would have made that call. That's a little bit short than what the estimated pit window was going to be. So, I mean, maybe he can stretch it out that extra 2 or 3 laps to the very end if this goes green.
I don't know. Yeah, I would have thought this was a little early for him to be on pit road, unless he came down for a different reason. But I don't think. I mean, I don't think he got into the wall or anything. I didn't see anything. So.
Well, now what does this do for everybody else? Because now we've had two cars stop. Actually, a couple more cars back here. 01 has stopped along with Wally.
Right. Most of those guys are all laps down. So I guess for them, maybe they felt, that if they stop now and they don't have to pit when the leaders pit, they could make up some of their laps. I mean, that could be the strategy, what they're thinking.
Well, guess what? Coming to the end of 73. Get window door. That saloon door is now kicked wide open. Somebody to come down and short pit race. Right now, up front, after the 73 laps, Schulte leads Arms to second. Now, what do you do now? When you come down, you are going to lose probably 2 laps when you come down. Now, the scare there, Rachel, you come down, caution comes out, you're trapped 2 laps down. So
yeah,
it's a gamble either way, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing is, though, I mean, like you said, some people might end up choosing short pit. Be honest, the amount of fall off that they get on these tires, I personally would not short pit. I would get 4 tires, because the thing is, this pretty much is the only time they're going to pit, until we finish. So, yeah, I don't know if I would do short pitting on this one.
Well, you look at this, AJ. Say, okay, we can go to 108. than where we're sitting right now. We're in the window, right? We can do 108 laps. But they could also run it out, John. Now, here's the problem. If I pit now, if you come down pit road now, I'll wait to 108. But when I come down to pit road at lap 108, then the roles are going to be reversed. You're going to be on the older tires. Now I'll be fast. So it's a delta thing. When do these tires equal out and the advantage goes away? It's very, 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 this is the tricky technical part about racing, right? When do you want that tire advantage? Want it now? Want it later? Does everybody just run it out to 108? What do you do? Well, we'll find out as this rolls through.
Yeah, and that's also why we're not racing and we're in the booth. So
Yeah, I would
we
not.
don't have to figure that out.
I know what I would do. I do it every. See, I'm kind of predictable. I'm that guy in the race car that would take the. I'd come to pit road now. Right now, I'd be down there getting my tires. But there's also some risk, and that's what these guys are weighing out. If you're in this round of 8, how much risk? Right? How much can you really risk throwing away a champion? And
Yeah.
that's where these guys are at. Is we got about 100 to go. Think about that. We're at 100 to go at Martinsville already. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't take us long to get to that at all. But I mean, kudos to these guys for keeping it, green as long as they have, because, like we said earlier, this is Martinsville. I mean, there's always a possibility, for a caution to happen, but these guys have really, worked hard to not have any cautions so far this race.
Haynes to the bottom of Merck right now. That's a battle for inside the top 4. Haynes will take it. Merck back to 5th. And again, folks, 81 complete here of the 180 scheduled. What do you think we do our first Crank It Up of the evening? And me and Rachel will watch for pit road. Enjoy Crank It Up here. We'll be back with you just a moment. Well, as we go to Crank It Up here, Scott Patton, well, he brings it to pit road. One of the first cars from the lead, from the top few vehicles, bringing that Chevrolet to pit road. So here we go. Let the games begin. How long do these, again, remember what I said, 5 laps, that's 10 seconds. They can give up to Patton. I don't think it'll be wrong before you see that leader to pit road.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think they'll wait too long. I mean, we've seen it. Scott Patton is one of those guys that's really good at pit strategy. He's always good at pit strategy. So I have a feeling since he came down, it won't be long before we see some others come down pit road.
Let's start looking at some lap time. Scott works his way through. He's lap down right now. When Frank goes back out, go get it back. Let's look at how much time he is gaining on the race leader. Race leader last time by 22:09. Scott this time, let's check it. 21:18. 1:28. So he's still slower though than his fastest. And if I look at his pit stop time, I'm wondering if he took 2 tires. He only spent 12 seconds on pit road.
He barely stayed in his pit. Yeah, so he probably just did the 2-tire thing because he did not stay in his pit long enough to do 4 tires.
Donald Klein to pit road now in the 76. Let's see what he does and how much of an advantage will the 2. That's very interesting. It did give him a little bit of an advantage. but he was still a couple tenths, and I've lost everybody. Everybody.
No, I'm looking at Ronald right now.
All right, folks, we'll be right back here at Martinsville in just one moment. Alrighty, folks. Alrighty, folks. Sorry about that. We are back. here at Martinsville Speedway once again. Sorry about that, iRacing having a little issue there, but we are back and rolling. And right now, Andrew Schulte, the only car on track that has not pitted. Rachel doing a great job keeping me up to date while I was down there. So Schulte, the only car that ain't pitted here, everybody else has. Well, he's going to lose a ton of time staying out like this right now.
Yeah, he's been falling back quite a bit. The only car you got Randy Arms and you've got Scott Patton. Those are the only cars with Schulte that are on the lead lap right now. And yeah, Schulte just keeps falling further and further back. But see, while we were actually gone, Schulte did get some damage on the right front of his car. It's not a lot, but it's still, that still can do some damage and make it harder for him to run the car.
And here he comes. So Schulte to the pit road, 105, right on that 108 number. They'll bring it down. No surprise there. Was getting low on fuel. Brought the car to pit road. And that will finish out the round of stops here. Everybody will cycle through, and I'm betting money Rob Haynes is going to be your new race leader here at Martinsville.
Actually, Rob Haynes is 1 lap down. He was actually 2 laps down.
Well, it'll cycle through. The leader's still on pit road. Just unlapped himself right there.
Oh, okay.
So we will see how long. Actually, Schulte, 2 tires. Look at that. That's that same strategy we seen earlier. And that is going to keep him out front by taking those 2 tires. And he'll have a heck of a lead here. So great move by Schulte. Staying out and tricking everybody and just taking 2 here. And everybody else that took 4, well, they're kind of, you're kind of hoodooed there. You just got hoodooed by Schulte, because now with those 2 tires, he is going to have quite the lead over everyone else.
Yeah, we saw Scott Patton did the same exact thing with the 2 tire stop, so.
Well, hang on. Now it's giving us a new race leader. I'm showing Randy the leader. Who you got?
Oh yeah, actually I do. I see Randy, and it's showing that Schulte is actually 10 seconds back.
Yep, there it goes. So it's finally updated. Everybody cycled through the green flag stop. So now that is your actual number is Randy Arms. Imagine that coming to the front. Schulte there or Patton in second, Reeves in third, Schulte in fourth. That is your top 4 here. Patton a little bit off of Randy. Mitchell, Reeves, Jeff Merck a lap down. Or 6 laps down, excuse me. Merck unfortunately got dropped. Now that begs the question, and I hate to talk about this soon in the race, but last week, the Xfinity Series on Saturday night, playoff drivers got cut from the race, and they did some adjusting to the playoffs to make up for it. Man, I would hate to be Ronald Klein and the admin team at the end of this race. Because Merck right now being scored 13th, that could be disaster for his playoff hopes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. So, yeah, that would be a really hard call.
Yeah. Right, we had the same thing happen in Xfinity Series. Precedent has been set. So at the end of this race, I will update you guys next week on what the point situation is. Basically, at this point, Rachel, as a driver, you got to treat it that everything's going to stand and everything's going to count until you're told otherwise.
Right.
So right now, with Randy Arms up front, leading the way right now. Scott Patton in second, and believe it or not, we went 113 laps at Martinsville Speedway green flag. What about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely not what I would have expected, especially this long. I mean, doing over 100 laps with no cautions. You don't see that very often. But yeah, these guys have actually, they've done a good job with keeping it clean. But as of right now, we're about to have a battle between Schulte and Patton.
Schulte grabbing second away from Patton. He moved to second now. Schulte coming back forward with those bit fresher tires. Always race cars, a ton of them a lap down. 5 cars on the lead lap right now at Martinsville.
Right, and Rob Haynes is the last one on the lead lap, and I mean he's 16 seconds behind Randy.
Yeah, and what happens here is because we haven't had any yellows, so there you go. Nobody has gotten any wave arounds or got waved back up or free passes or all the things you do. Nobody's got that because we haven't had any yellows to give it out.
Right.
So with 117 on the board of the 180 here tonight, this race is just clicking off rapidly here. And right now you see Brandon Thornhill in front of Schulte. Thornhill is going to be right now 1 lap down. Schulte inching by him. And he's going to have another lap car in between him and the race leader of Arms. Going to jump by the 85 machine of Judd Danielson. That's another car a lap down. What do you think? You think Schulte can get up there to Randy? He's got quite a ways to go in a short time to get there.
Right. The only thing that I would be worried about with Schulte is his tires, because he only got 2 tires. Randy, when he went down pit road, he got 4. So the thing is, if Schulte runs too hard because he has 2 old tires, I'm afraid that could really hurt him. Plus, Schulte still has some damage, a little bit, on his right front. From whenever he had hit the wall earlier. So yeah, I'm not sure when it comes to that. He's going to have to be really careful to not burn up his tires.
Well, right now we're at 16 laps to go at Martinsville, Virginia. In the loose Lugnuts, not designed, not Throwback series here at Martinsville. Big shout out to Over the Top Designs. Don't look your best, look over the top. If you need a car done, go contact John on Facebook. He'll make you look over the top, I promise you that. Great looking custom paints, custom die cast, everything custom. Well, right now, and trouble front straight away, it's Randy Arms. Oh no.
Oh.
Randy Arms, our race leader. What happened there?
That's the thing. I don't know exactly what happened with Randy. I don't know if he got loose or what, but I mean, he just collided into the wall, and I mean, he has a lot of front end damage on that right front.
It looks like that car just off on the exit of the corner. The rear of the car just stepped out. He never caught up to it. He has got to be livid right now.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that gave up, that position to Schulte.
On board with him here, it just starts to go, and when it goes, he overcorrects into the outside wall, trying to save that thing, and that gives, everybody did a great job getting on the binders and getting by it. That could have been a lot worse than what it actually turned out to be.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's a good thing that it was avoided, because I mean, it could have brought out a caution if people weren't paying attention, but luckily Randy still got it going. Only thing is, that's gonna hurt him. That front end damage is gonna hurt him.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna hurt him here. Not so much arrow wise, or it doesn't slow the car down, it just kind of makes it unstable to drive, right? Your arrow's not even. Actually, look at Schulte moving Merck up the racetrack as he went by that lap car. So now we're getting into the later stages. And I told everybody at home before, you wanted to make it through the heat, get to the feature, well, where's the feature now? Now you go. Now you start pushing it. Here you're looking at Martinsville here, you're coming up on 50 to go. We've got 53 actually to go right now. It is go time at Martinsville.
Yeah, I mean, now is the time where you're probably going to see a lot more cars not taking it as easy as they have you know, earlier in the race. You're probably going to see a lot of these guys get a little bit more aggressive because, you know, we're pretty much at the end of this race. So,
And we're back here. It dropped me for a minute, Rachel, but was able to put me right back in this time. Luckily for us, Sholto leads, Randy Arms in second. Now have Rachel over there monitoring the iRacing. See if anybody gets dropped here or affected. And it's just unfortunate that you have this situation. Yeah, I'm dropped
yeah.
again. Wow. Alright, folks, and just for the reference at home, internet's fine on my end. This is totally iRacing service.
Right. Yeah, we've had multiple drivers have this problem already. Luckily, we don't have anybody else as of right now, but but it has kind of ruined some of these guys' nights because of that. I mean, you know, they're multiple laps down and stuff, and especially for somebody that's possibly in the chase, that's not going to help them. So,
Alrighty, folks, I'll be back. We'll be back again here in a moment. Sorry about that. magically back once again here at Martinsville Speedway. By the power of the good old YouTube, we are back. What a night it's been. 144 laps complete. And you didn't really miss much here while we were gone. We had our radio broadcaster over here, Miss Rachel, keeping an eye out on everything while I was gone.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much going on. I mean, we still have five cars on the lead lap. There was a small battle between Rob Haynes and Mitchell Reeves. So you've got Rob Haynes that's in the 4th position, and then you have Mitchell Reeves in 5th. But besides that, it's been, pretty quiet. Most of these guys are pretty spread out. You have Randy Arms is about 4.5 seconds behind Scholta, and then you've got Scott Patton that's further back. I mean, and he's like 7 seconds behind Scholta. So there's pretty decent gaps between all these guys.
Pretty decent here at lap 147. We continue to run. Now Steam's really Steam. Anyway, as we continue to run for 147 and 180. Right now it's Andrew Scholta leading here tonight at Martinsville Speedway. A green flag run for the past 147 laps here today, Ray.
Yeah, I mean, these guys definitely have kept it green the whole time, and also, I mean, that when that happens, normally that's why some of these cars end up getting pretty spread out. They're just trying to keep their cars in one piece, to the end.
Well, and it looks like Scholta may have played the winning hand here tonight. As we head towards the end of this race, it's getting interesting real quick.
Yeah, I mean, he was the one that pitted the latest. I mean, he pitted back on lap 105, which was way later than anyone else did. I mean, he stayed out for at least another 4 to 5 laps before he pitted. So, he was losing position for a little while because of that, because everybody else had fresher tires. But it did play, to his advantage. Even though he only got 2 tires, he's still been able to stay out there, towards the front.
Yeah, he got that lead from that 2-tire stop. He kept it all the way here. And as we close down on the end of this race, excuse me, there, it really just played out for him perfectly. And
I mean, he has a pretty large gap. I mean, because Randy is still about 5 seconds behind him. So if he's able to pretty much just stay consistent the rest of the way, I mean, we're on lap, 150, we're coming up to lap 153 right now. I mean, he can, keep it. I mean, we got about 30 laps to go. And he should be good to go if he just keeps it consistent and doesn't mess up. So
yeah, in great shape here. I have to say that second. Unfortunate he missed the playoffs, but great run here at Martinsville for him, and really no battles except for really Reeves and Haynes here, kind of close to.
Yeah, Haynes and Reeves, are pretty much the closest ones on the track to each other. Like I said earlier, they kind of battled it out. Mitchell somehow has fallen back. I'm not sure if, possibly his tires, his tires could have worn, because he's starting to fall further back between him and Haynes. They were a lot closer before.
Yeah, and that's just part of it, right? You start to fall back. You really struggle here as they continue to run right now. And man, it has been a hectic night for these guys, I have to say.
Yeah, definitely. But, I mean, for Scholta, obviously, tonight worked out for him. I mean, he started in 4th, so he started, close to the front of the field. But now he's currently our leader, and he's pretty much been the leader for a lot of this. So, um,
And he is. Well, folks, if you'd like to at home, I'm going to try to give you another Crank It Up segment here since we got interrupted the first time. So let's go crank it up once again here tonight from Martinsville, Virginia, and we'll ride along with our race leader. Alrighty, back again here at Martinsville, Virginia, 19 to go. And out front, and start the lead. 6.4 is going to be your gap here tonight so far.
yeah, you've got Randy 6.4 seconds behind, and then you've got Scott Patton in third, and he is 8.2 seconds behind Schulte. So, I mean, Schulte definitely has kept himself towards the front with a major gap. He's in another zip code right now.
Yeah, he is just out front and working his way around. We did see Schulte get out of shape during that crank it up segment. Car got a little loose, but he straightened it back out pretty quickly. No harm, no foul. And here comes poor Jeff Merck, man. Just what can you even say for Jeff Merck, because he's been dropped twice now from this race, continuing to run, but it's going to be a P13 finish. It's not what he wanted to see.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, due to technical issues, obviously, yeah, this is giving him not the finish that he would have wanted, especially being someone that's in the chase. And it does show him as 28 laps down.
Yeah, he's 28 laps down. He can't really recover at all at this point.
Right.
Pretty much where he's going to finish is 13th. Jack Watts will come in 14th for this out of the event. So with 13 laps to go, Schulte out front, 6.3 over Randy Arms. Randy Arms 7 seconds up on Patton. It's going to be 14 seconds to Rob Haynes. And then Mitch Reeves back here, 17 seconds. Reeves actually just about lost that race car down the back straightaway with 13 to go.
Yeah, and then you also have in sixth position you have Brandon Thornhill, but he's pretty much the car that's keeping that gap between Randy and Scott Patton.
Yeah, he's kind of riding in between the gap here, hoping for a caution, because if he was to get a caution, guess who would win the pony and get the wave around? It'd be Brandon Thornhill.
Right, yeah, because he is the first car a lap down, so.
Knock on wood. I don't know if you just saw that, but poor Brandon was blinking there for a minute. Knock on wood, I guess. As we're coming to 10 to go for Andrew Schulte out front with a 5.9 second lead. Starting to close in is Randy Arms, but I think it's going to be a little too late.
Yeah, I think with Randy having that front end damage, it's just going to be really hard for him to be able to run any harder to get up there. I just think the car's probably not handling the way that he wants it to because of that damage on the front.
Now Randy got that right front damage, you know, the advancement. But right now, Patton's right there behind him, and Patton blinked out there for speed. Patton hanging on right there behind him, 8 to go. And right now it is Schulta by 5.8 seconds with 8 to go this time by Martinsville.
They only have to hold on for a few more laps.
Few more laps here at Martinsville Speedway, 8 to go with Andrew Schulta out front. Rob Haynes there in the 4th. Mitchell Reeves and Brandon Thornhill back here in 6th as well. And who would have ever said a green flag, a checkered run at Martinsville? Never thought I'd say that.
Yeah, no, I definitely wouldn't have thought that either. I mean, especially this many laps. I mean, we're talking about pretty much right at 180 laps, and to be green the whole time. I mean, that says a lot about these guys and what type of drivers they are.
And right now with 7 laps to go, this time by Andrew Schulta leads away, kicking off 6 to go that time by. Schulta leads, Arms second, Patton third. That battle for second and third starting to close. Here comes Patton. And,
right.
And Brando right in the middle of that. Oh no, Brando!
Oh.
And that is going to be the caution.
Wow.
Brandon Thornhill losing that over-the-top designs, pink and white machine. And I'm going to rag on Brandon for the next 2 weeks. Because guess what? They were about to set a record at Martinsville for the first ever green to checkers run. And Brandon Thornhill trying to get out of the way. Around comes that machine. My, oh my.
Wow.
Yeah. Do me a favor, Rachel. You have my permission to leave the broadcast booth. Go flick you on the back of the head.
I never would have thought. I mean, especially with this few amount of laps to go.
Oh boy, does this make this
right? Because now he will be back on the lead lap.
Well, actually, he won't. It should give it to. Believe it or not, it gave it to Ronald Klein because.
Oh, right, to Ronald. Right, exactly.
Because Brandon was involved in the incident, but what do you do if you're out front here? It looks like Schulta's hitting pit road. And Schulta off of pit road, Arms coming off of pit road. We should have 5 or 6 cars here on the lead lap when we restart here at Martinsville.
Wow.
And let's do a quick interview right quick. Brandon Thornhill, Matt up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, buddy, we were about to set a record for Martinsville, and then a certain person out there in a white and pink car may have got Vaseline on the tires or something. What happened there, buddy?
Going in, and I was looking at something and realized that I missed my braking point, so I was trying to get it woed down and forgot I had my brake bias that far back, so yeah, there wasn't much I could do.
Yeah, poor man. Well, unfortunately, you didn't get the wave around, but pretty good run for you here tonight up to that point.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like I was doing pretty well, so, but I guess it just happens sometimes.
Well, we'll get you back out there and get back at it. And make sure you wipe all the Vaseline off your tires.
I got new ones now, so we should be good to go.
Poor Matt, we'll see you later on, buddy.
Later.
Oh, Brandon's gonna kill me. Oh, he's gonna kill me. Oh. So,
I was laughing the whole time.
I figured.
I was just laughing the whole time. It was like, yeah, of course, it had to be right now. And now they're being, now they're going to a green white checkered, so.
All right, so we restacked today. It's going to be Schulta, Arms, Patton, Haynes, Reeves, and Ronald Klein on the lead lap. Donald starting at the end of the field. Now, can Schulte hold off everyone behind him? That is going to be the question here. Everybody's 4 fresh tires, good to go. Coming to the green-white checkered at Martinsville. Here we go off turn 4, Rachel. Green flag will wave.
All right. Looks like Schulte did get a great restart. I mean, he has definitely pulled himself out. But I mean, you've got Randy Arms trying to, get close to him. Oh, yeah, that was really close.
Oh, he locked it up into the back of Schulte. Schulte up the hill, Arms up the hill. Patton's gonna sneak through. I gotta say it, white flag in the air, and Randy Arms sent it into 3 and 4. He tried it, not gonna work here. He'll get clear off of turn number 2. Schulte leads Patton right there though. Can Patton close the gap in 3 and 4? Not gonna be enough. And what a finish we're gonna have out of turn number 4. Andrew Schulte gets it done here tonight at Martinsville. Wow.
Right. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, wow.
That was a great
Second.
Great finish. And then you have Randy Arms in third.
Well, we got to thank Mr. Thornhill because he set up one heck of a finish there.
Right. He did.
We got to give him credit there, but checkered is out. Schulte picking up the win at Martinsville tonight. Where do we even start with this race tonight?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, we literally thought this was going to go green the whole time. But I mean, 5 laps to go, it changes to green, white, checkered.
Yeah, and I tell you what, guys handled themselves in a white checkered perfect. And not only that, look at Andrew Schulte coming in third, picking up his 4th win of the year. We're going to get him up here out to it. Andrew Schulte is going to come join us in a moment. Not to get him up. Got to go grab him. Got to go find it first. There he is. So the Bandit Motorsports driver and Andrew Schulte. It's Matt up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, my man. Win number 4 on the year, my friend.
Yeah, that was it was. I thought it was going to be a pretty decent one coming up there with about 10 to go, and then the caution came out, and then it got really hard. So just glad we were able to pull that one out. That was fun.
Yeah, Randy got to your bumper there, drove it in a little bit too deep, got to your bumper, and got all jacked up. Scott got into him at that point. He's able to hang on to the car. Was you worried about getting turned right there at all?
A little bit, but we had been on such a long run the whole race. We were on old tires, so I didn't really know where to brake. I had forgotten where the fresh tire braking point was at, so I might have gotten on the brakes a little bit early and caused that stack up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I think that would have been on my own doing there, but I just had to fend that off the best I could. And good to see Scott got around him to finish second there. So Bandit 1-2, can't ask for anything more than that.
And Foreman, well, a win here at Martinsville, adding that points, heading further into this round. Great job here tonight, Andrew. Anything you'd like to think?
Appreciate it. Shout out to Bandit Motorsports. Thanks again to Chris Foles for spotting for me there. He and crew chief, I was going to take 2 tires there at the end, or under that caution, and he had said that everyone else was probably going to take 4, so I'm glad I had thrown 4 on there, because I think it would have been a different result if we had taken 2, so yeah, appreciate it.
Well, man, you did a great job here. Win number 4 on the year for Andrew Schulte. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you, sir.
Alrighty, up in here in the booth as well, we got Mr. Patton. Scott, you got a copy?
Oh yeah, I got you, Matt.
Alrighty, man. Well, that Stone River machine bringing her home second here tonight.
Yeah, it almost feels like a victory though, man. Anytime you can beat Randy in these cars. I was racing him, I feel like at least more than half of the race there, so I kind of told myself with 25, 30 to go when I was chasing him down, I was like, if I can just get by him, it'll feel like a victory, because Andrew was kind of on a different planet from us. I don't know what he did. I know he took 2 tires on that green flag stop, but he just ran away with that thing. He was driving the wheels off, so awesome job for him. Like he said, Bandit Motorsports finishing top 2 here, but hats off to Randy and Mitchell. I feel bad. I don't know if you caught it, but I got into him early in the race. I feel bad about that one, but great driving by him, wheeling that thing, and great recovery, and nice to see a green flag race like this, especially in Martinsville. Green flag pit stops kind of unheard of, but we practiced a little bit and practiced the pit stops, and did the best we could, and on the podium again and moving on. Hopefully, it looks like.
Well, man, you did a wonderful job in that Stone River machine. Tell you what, man, you have a good finish here tonight, going on in the round of 8 next. And then one more good run here, and you'll be in the round of 4, bud.
That's the plan. We're going to keep on status quo here and give hopefully Andrew and Randy and Mitchell and all those guys, Rob especially, has put on a late push here in the second half of the season. So I think it's going to be a really interesting battle, especially at the end. I think we're finishing up at North Wilkesboro, so it's kind of similar to this in short track, flat racing, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. However the outcome comes out, should be a blast.
Alrighty, man. Well, do your thing, do your promotion, and everybody you'd like to thank, bud.
Appreciate Extreme Sim TV, you guys up there, Matt, Rachel, some of the best up there. Appreciate all your work during the week, as well as the broadcast itself. Stone River Outfitters, New England's premier fly tying shop. Check them out, StoneRiverOutfitters.com. Facebook as well. And Loose Lugnuts. Appreciate John. I know John stepped down this past week, so appreciate all his years into this league. This is my first year here, but I can say from my short experience how much of a pleasure it's been to work with him kind of behind the scenes on some things that pop up throughout the league, as well as him being the head of the league. So appreciate all his work. I know I can imagine how much time that is in addition to running the paint shop. So appreciate him, and looking forward to wherever the league is headed, and we are focused on finishing up the season, hopefully with something good at the end.
Man, well, again, congratulations. You're on.
Appreciate it, Matt. Catch you, buddy.
All right, catch you later, man. All right, there was Scott. Well, we got one more to talk to here in a moment, Rachel, but before we do that, what do you think about the front two, Bandit Motorsports? Great finish for them.
Oh yeah, I mean definitely. Like Scott mentioned about him getting around Randy. I mean, that's what they needed to get that that 1-2 finish. So congrats to both of them. And I mean Schulte, pretty much dominated this track tonight. So.
Well, let's get Mr. Randy. Talk to him as well. Randy Arms, Matt, up here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
Alrighty, man. You're going to come home third here tonight. You had a great run battle for the race lead. You went into the corner a little hot there, got in the back of Schulte, ended up with Scott tagging you, and you brought that Castrol machine home. 3 here tonight.
Yeah, I forgot to. I had my brake bias back a little bit towards the rear on that long run, and forgot to put it back up to the front. So on the restart, we went down into 3, and really I about spun it out. Did pretty much everything I could not to wreck myself and those other guys, and let Scott get by me there. But all in all, it was a good race. I thought we was going to run the whole thing green, and had a pretty good car, just didn't have anything for Schulte there. He was for sure the class of the field. So we'll take a 3rd place and go on to the next one.
10-4, man. Well, congratulations on a P3 here tonight. Anything you'd like to thank?
Yeah, just I want to thank Castrol and Octane Race Products, Chevrolet, and thanks to League for putting on these races. I feel like we have had a really good year, about to wind it down. Had some really good racing this year, so just thanks everybody that has ran this league this year, and thank you guys for putting on the broadcast each week.
Yeah, more 10-4, man. Well, congratulations, P3 and the Arms. We'll see you next week, my friend.
See you later, buddy.
Alrighty, Rachel. Any closing thoughts here from Martinsville Speedway?
This race definitely wasn't what we expected. I mean, we were close to going a whole 180 with, without a caution, and then, unfortunately, These guys ended up having, that one caution with 5 laps to go, and so it turned to a green-white checkered. But I mean, overall, Sid was still able to come through and pull off the win. So, congrats to him and Pat, and obviously teammates. 1-2 finish. I'm sure they couldn't ask for anything better.
10-4. Alrighty, guys. Well, I'm going to get ready to shut her down for Matt and Rachel in the booth, as always. Thank you for coming out to Extreme Sim TV, and an update for everybody. The Facebook name will be renamed here in the very near future back to Extreme Sim. I can't update it yet. That was a very interesting Friday and Saturday morning with the name change. I know other people in this league asked about it, so I'm just going to kind of fill you in here at the end of this broadcast. Thought it was a good idea and got a ton of messages wanting it to stay, and at some point there your audience wants it to stay. I'm like, all right, if you want it to stay, it'll stay. So we went back to Extreme Sim TV. My marketing manager down there that happens to be in the booth with us, we'll get together and do some more marketing stuff with Extreme Sim here very, very soon. But that is what happened with that. I'll own it. It didn't go the way I planned it, but hey, Extreme Sim is where I started, and I guess that's where I will finish here in the next 2 years or so. So that'll be fun. Don't forget, tomorrow night, ASMR coming your way with their BRP series tomorrow evening, 8 o'clock. We'll be there for that. Also, I'm thinking I might be in the booth with Josh on Saturday when we go Xfinity racing. Look out for that on Max Speed. But that being said, thank you to Rachel for coming out once again here tonight. Everyone, have a great night. Be safe. God bless. We'll see you on Sunday with some more loose